What's up, everybody? This is the Sports League Podcast, back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got John Abraham back on the show. Always good to have you.
Yes, sir.
And this is our 2025 NFC South season preview. It's going to be a fun one. Um, you know this division well, playing a lot of years with the Atlanta Falcons. What do you think of when you think about this division, like the rivalries and playing for the Falcons?
I guess me playing in the division, I feel a lot more, amped to say that it's always been a good division. But when we talk about, we just talked about, 2015, 2016, Super Bowls, and even in Tampa with Tom Brady goes Super Bowls. So we can see that the NFC South definitely has those caliber type players, and it keeps those championship type teams. But it's been a while. I mean, I can't see the NFC South really pulling away from everyone at the moment because they still got to grow up. When it comes to quarterbacks, when it comes to O line, and when it comes to defenses, especially in New Orleans. New Orleans has a lot to go. Like I think they'll be surprised if they win 7 games this year. I think a lot of people are going to be looking towards them to be the beaten bags in the NFC South because Baker Mayfield has played so well last year. Being 10-7 is definitely something they could have easily been 12, 13 wins. And I think, with a healthy Mike Evans the whole year, I think it'll be a lot better just because his leadership, takes it to another level. So I think it's a lot to learn with this division, actually. I think we're going to have a lot of stuff here and there. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to be one of those seasons that we see a lot of people mature more than anything. I think it's a maturity factor for this the NFC South. I'm not saying that possibly Tampa Bay because I think they have the probably the oldest team and the more experience. They might go further than the other teams. Like mentally, I'm thinking just because of the maturity they have. But I think everybody's still growing in the division. Like all the teams are growing.
Yeah, and especially the quarterbacks like Michael Penix and Bryce Young. Michael Penix first year as a full-time starter, and then Bryce Young, who actually started to play well the second half of the year last year. So expectations are higher in Carolina with Bryce Young going into year 3 with T-Mac, Tedero McMillan coming in, giving him some more weapons. But let's take a look at this. So the Bucks have won the last 4 straight division championships, the Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield era. The Saints won 4 straight before that in the Drew Brees era. And the Falcons last won it in 2016 with Matt Ryan when they went to the Super Bowl. And the Panthers last won it in 2015 with Cam Newton when they won in the Super Bowl, or when they went to the Super Bowl. So to me, what really jumps out there is it's a franchise quarterback league, right? And if you don't have Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield, Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, Cam Newton, it's difficult. And that's just how this league is as a whole. You either have a quarterback you believe in or you don't.
Right. Like I said, this division has a lot of maturing to do. I think we're like even Todd Bowles, he head coach for the Jets before, but now he's with the Tampa. So, but I think he's in a better scheme. Even I called him one time and I was like, dude, I don't know what the Jets doing, man. They ain't giving you enough yada yada yada. I think he kind of just blew me off though. Probably like whatever, Abe. like Abe, you can't tell anybody that. But I believe in Todd Bowles. Even having their like veteran leaders coming back, Vita Vea,
Yeah.
I guess Vontae David, Antoine Winfield. Hopefully he can stay healthy this year and give them a bigger presence in the back side. But they have it. I mean, Baker Mayfield threw for 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns. I mean, it's not like they're way off. I think, like I said, them being 10-7 was actually surprising. But that shows you how good and bad the division was, if that makes sense. 10-7 won the division, and it was at some point that the Falcons had a 2-game lead, and they just messed it up. They just freaked it off at the end. It was like they were looking good. They were leading the division, and it just went downhill. And I think when it comes to players, it shows sometimes it's a weakness and a strength because playing hurt or playing injured or playing whatever, sometimes it can make you feel like, oh, he's a great player. He's playing through the pain. But then Kirk Cousins ended up getting the short end of the stick. If he played injured, if he played hurt, but he ended up losing games.
Yeah.
So even if you're saying that, I was trying to tough it out, I was trying to do this, sometimes it can smack you in the face. Sometimes it's not like, oh, well, you should, like now, sometimes I had a coach tell me, oh, 70% of you is better than 100% of them. And it made me feel so good. I wanted to go out there and play. But in the same time, I knew at the point I wasn't giving the same effort. I mean, I was giving the same effort, but I wasn't giving the same production. So,
Yeah.
with Kirk Cousins, like, it had to be like, you can't really bitch about it now. Like, as much as you want to say, like, oh, I was this, I was her, like, nobody want to watch the Netflix thing now. You ain't do nothing. Like just let's just get here and play football now. We don't want, like, it's hard to cry for somebody who made so much money in just a year.
Oh yeah, he's made Tom Brady type money. He's loaded.
Easy money, easy money. He had a
Yeah.
great agent.
But yeah, I agree with you. With the Bucks, I mean, the thing I like about this division and I like about all the divisions in the NFL is like they tend to beat each other up. You know what I mean? And you play all those division games and it tightens the division up record wise. And that seems to happen a lot in the NFC South. The Bucks are capable of winning 12 or 11 games, but those division battles, you can throw out the record when you play the Saints or the Panthers because they're going to play you tough no matter what. So that's always cool. We'll see if Hassan Reddick coming over. He's coming off a rough year with the Jets, just 1 sack in 10 games, but a lot of drama and stuff there with him. So hopefully a new, fresh start in Tampa Bay will help him. And you add him to Vita Vea and that D line. Do you think Hassan Reddick can bring something? I mean, it's such a bad year last year, but we know he's capable.
Well, we know he definitely have to get this hangover out of his mind because he chose to. Sometimes you think you're bigger than the team. You think you're bigger than the sport. You do certain things to try to. You think that, okay, I'm gonna win this situation, and then being having to fold. Having to give up and be like, I got to come back because I want to get some of this money. I want to recoup some of the stuff. I thought I was bigger than the team. And when I said when you get a slap in the face like that,
Yeah.
you definitely try to come back the next year. You can either come back the next year and ball out, get back onto a line that I deserve this kind of money because you're still young enough to get, maybe another big deal. But for him, it can't be another like kind of false play out year, thinking you're better than everybody else. And I think like me, even when I went to Arizona with when Todd Bowles was there, and he was my defensive coach, Bruce Arians. I was an older guy. I felt like I was coming off the bench, and I was like, man, I ain't got nothing to prove. But then when I got in the game, they're gonna give you opportunities to be great. You just gotta be great. Like no more of this. Like you can't bitch no more. Like you put yourself in a situation. If you would have played for the Jets and whatever would have happened. But you kind of put yourself in a situation. There's nothing bad you can say about it. You can appreciate having the opportunity and try to be a leader as much as possible without putting waves in the water. But I think Irvin is going to be the main guy that's going to save this team this year. I think they have to have a running game. Even though I know Baker can do his thing, I think Irvin is going to be – is he the starter now? He's the main guy now, correct?
Who's that?
Irvin, the running back.
Bucky Irving? Yeah.
So he's the main guy. I think he'll set the tone for the offense. And I think he'll be the guy that is probably going to be the most important. I think a lot of guys, the defense has always been a good defense, so that's not going to be far off. But I don't think Baker Mayfield throwing for 4,500 yards again is really going to be the reason they win. I think the running game and the managing of the clock is going to be the biggest thing. I think because Atlanta's going to try to be a high-power offense. We're not sure about New Orleans. And Carolina's going to be everybody's going to try to be a high power offense. I think if they can manage to surprise people and control the clock most games, which most defenses like to do, I think they'll win a lot of football games this year.
Yeah, I do too. And you bring in like Emeka Ibuka and Tez Johnson. They've already got a loaded receiver core of Mike Evans, Jalen McMillan, Chris Godwin. Now you add Ibuka and Tez Johnson. That's a ton of firepower at the receiving core. I agree with what you say at the running back. They got Rashad White, they got Bucky Irving, and I think you will start to see Irving make more and more of an impact. He's a great pass catching back as well for Baker. A safety valve. So that's going to be important. They're bringing back a lot of the same on offense. So I don't see why they take a big step back. I know they lost Liam Cohen, but we'll see. Tampa was in a similar, like losing Liam Cohen is an inexperienced offensive coordinator. So we'll see if Baker puts up those numbers again. But it's a loaded offense around him. I don't see why he shouldn't. They also drafted a couple corners, Benjamin Morrison and Jacob Parrish. So we'll see. It's a nice mixture in Tampa Bay. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't win the division again.
It's a possibility. I think it's going to be just like last year. I think the Falcons are going to play well. I think Carolina's going to play well. I think a few games. I think there'll be a lot more split games than there are going to be somebody just dominating. I think the team that should dominate is Tampa. I definitely think Tampa, like I said, with the more experience when it comes to the coaching staff being there longer, when it comes to other things like that. Yes, I do feel like they have the better experience when it comes to players. But when it comes to teams playing together, I think, like even last year, I think the Falcons could have easily won the NFC South. But they kind of, like I said, it faltered off. So whatever team can maintain the longest, I feel like can win this division. Because like it was 10-7 last year to win the division, and that's not amazing. You had like other teams, the divisions had 14 wins, and they couldn't even make the playoff. I'm sorry, they didn't win the division. So it's real football out here. And 10-7 is cool, but it ain't winning no Super Bowls, I don't think.
Yeah, absolutely, and. The biggest thing, win the division, get that home playoff game, Bucks, and then can they take the next step, go on a deep playoff run? Everyone in Tampa Bay is unhappy with the lack of playoff success, losing to the Lions, losing to the Commanders. They want to see them get to an NFC championship game, potentially get to a Super Bowl, but you got to win those playoff games, and we'll see if they can get it done. My prediction, I agree with you. I think, 10-7 last year. I think they're capable of winning 11-12, but I think also that division, I think they win 9-11. They're right in that mix, 10-7 again. And we'll see if Atlanta or Carolina can get up there and potentially steal a division away from
them. Right.
Let's talk about your Falcons. They're coming off an 8-9 season, finished second in the division, and missed the playoffs. I think it'll help not having to deal with the Kirk Cousins inconsistency, whether he's hurt or not, whether he gets benched or not. You hand the reins to Michael Penix and see what he can do for a full season, right?
Well, I just see their record maybe being 9-8. I can see them being 9-8 this year. I'm trying to see what the schedule is so I can make sure I can see who they're playing because I didn't even look at it yet. But yeah, I think right now I can see just watching how they're getting together and how they're putting this stuff together. Like I'm thinking, yeah, like I'm looking at the schedule now. They start off with the Bucks. Yeah, I can
that's a big
see.
Game week one.
They got the Bucks, the Vikings, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bucks, the Vikings, the Panthers, Commanders, the Bills, 49ers, the Dolphins, the Patriots, the Colts. They have a loaded schedule. They play the Jets. They play the Seahawks. These are all teams that are probably going to be pretty good, especially when all these are good quarterbacks they're going to face. They're facing the Rams at the end. They got the Cardinals. They got the Bucks. So it's going to be a lot. This is a healthy schedule. If you look at the schedule, it's not an easy schedule. They got a lot of stars coming in town. I mean, they're playing. It's always hard to play on the road in this division because it's just a different atmosphere. You have to get ready a different way. Tampa, sometimes you end up playing at a 4:00 game, or you might have to play like at a night game because it's a division game and they wanted to have it on TV. The flex games are always the games that you kind of like, but you kind of don't. You get to rest a long time that day, but then you know you're not getting out till late that night. I really feel that Jeff Ulbrich is going to be a big piece and a factor too. And I think he's the perfect guy for this team now. simply because if you've seen what he did with the Jets with the multi pass rushers, he was able to always create pressure. You had like 4 or 5 guys that can get to the quarterback. Nobody had like a crazy sack number, but they all had 5 to 10 sacks. So he always was getting people to the quarterback. So he had to lick his chops when he saw Jalen Walker and when he seen James Pierce Jr. When he saw him got those 2 guys, plus they had Floyd. They got Floyd. So think about it. He's like, I can do whatever I want, and I'm sure he's going to come up with some way to have all 3 of those guys on the field at the same time, and because he know everybody that can get to the quarterback will be on the field, whether you're putting. When you putting Kaden Ellis in there, you can have Kaden Ellis, you can have JPJ, you can have Jalen Walker, and you can have Floyd in, all of them at the same time, and just blitz whatever you want to. You can have. If I was a D coordinator, I would be like, dude, all the stuff that I can just make up. I can just make stuff up. I can just put this here, put this guy here, put this guy here. Let's put both of them on the same side. Matter of fact, let's try putting James Pierce and Walker on the same side. Let's flip them to. Let's take this guy, put him here. Like, man, if I was him, I would be making my. And then let's take both of them, go outside and just blitz Caden in the middle. It can be all kind of weird stuff going on this year, and hopefully he does take advantage of that. Like I said, if you watch him with the Jets, he knew exactly how to get those guys playing, to get them amped, and he also knows how to get the guys to feed off each other, not to try to, he's doing better, he's doing better. If you ever seen the Jets team that Jeff was running, all the guys were trying to work together. It was like, somebody got a sack, you see the other guy clap him up. You see this guy do this, he try to do this. So I think you can see the same thing coming here now. And you got you got another guy, Arnold, that led this team in sacks.
Yeah, advocating. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got a lot of stuff going on. You've got to be happy with how your team is coming together so far.
Yeah, it's a Falcons' own version of like that NASCAR defensive line, that pass rush like the Giants had. I like it. It's a lot of athleticism, a lot of youth. And I've always loved Leonard Floyd. My Bears never should have got rid of him. We drafted him, and he's been nothing but productive everywhere he's been. So that's a great addition for Atlanta. They also got Morgan Fox, who is more of a run stopper. So that's a nice addition as well. And then how about the safeties? Xavier Watts is getting a lot of love, but how about badass Billy Bowman? Both of those safeties are really good value picks for Atlanta.
Yeah, I like Xavier. Xavier looks like he's very mature for his age, which he is. I mean, he came in playing receiver in college, and they ended up moving to safety. He's ended up being like an extraordinary safety. I think 2-time All-American and everything and all that stuff. But he was an older guy, and I think this is going to, especially coming in and you having a guy like Jesse Bates, the third, to be the guy to mentor you, dude. All you got to do is pretty much just stay out of his way, because Jesse is that good. So only thing you got to do is just make sure that you're looking just as half as good as he does on that field. And with Jesse, it's actually kind of good sometimes to have younger guys, because you can be the first one to really coach them and teach them how you play. So like, it's not like they're used to playing with another guy in the league and they try to play. So now they got to learn how you play. Because, like last year, we had another all-pro guy come in, but he was kind of like in his own way. He might have played with so many different players, he couldn't pick on how Jesse played. So these guys, all you have is Jesse to pick off. You can't go back to college and say this, my first league, I'm going with Jesse Bates, and this is how I'm going to learn how to play football.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's an important factor, because last year I remember watching the Falcons. I think it was Falcons-Vikings, and some like miscommunication, some out of position in the secondary. And so bringing in Jeff Ulbrich, bringing in some of these new guys, hopefully that's something the Falcons can get cleaned up, because they've got the talent. They just need to get all on the same page and communicating and working together, and they can be a pretty good defense. So I think Jeff Ulbrich is an excellent hire for that, and I think the Falcons are right there with Tampa Bay. The Bucs are probably more talented on paper, but let's say 10 or 11 wins for Tampa Bay. I got Atlanta right behind them at 9 or 10 wins themselves, 8 at worst. I think this is
just reading that schedule, I will say 9 to 8.
Yeah,
Because I think a few of the games are going to be close, but I can't depend on Kyle Pitts yet. I can't depend on the O line blocking for Bijan. Bijan didn't even have a run over 30 yards. He had like 1 yard, one run over 30 yards. And if you look at other running backs, like everybody know Bijan should be a guy that breaks it. We need to see a 60, 70-yard run. He getting 30 yards, but he has the juke, shake, do all this just to get the thing. We need the old line to literally ball down and just hit people in the mouth. Give him like, I understand he's a shaky guy, but we need a downhill runner. We need him to hit the
yeah,
hole and cut once and then go. I mean, he's going to get yards. He's going to be another 1,000-yard rusher. It's not even a point about that, but the O-line going to have to grind. Like I was telling, like the top 5 players on their team is going to be the O-line. Whatever Newsel does, whatever Matthews does, whatever Bergeron does, whatever those guys do up front is what's going to make the team better. And with the people they have on defense now, it's going to make that damn offensive line better. Because you seeing these guys every day in practice, like I think the first time they had a fight in practice was like last week. So, and that's what they like to see. Jeff said he likes to see, you get real close. You want to hit him, but you don't. That's the kind of dog mentality we ain't had in a couple of years. That's the kind of thing. They said James Pierce almost got in the fight, and we was like, sure, good, about time. That is the kind of stuff that you want to see. That's the kind of stuff that get your friend, like they say, iron sharpens iron. So if you're used to kind of like titty-tatting each other in practice, then you see your friend get tore up in the game. No, give him that work. Give him that work. I remember one of my friends, Kuno Janaka. He was like our backup tackle. But I used to go with the first team one-on-ones, and he'll be like, no, hey, me and him go to the strip club together. Me and him, he come to my house. I go to his house. We hang out. We friends. But he called me out. He said, because he want to get better. So he'd be like, John, I want you. Like, I want John. I'm like, man, you ain't up bad. But you know what? It made sense. He want to get better. He don't want to go against the other guys because he's like, how am I going to get better if I'm going against him? So now that you have these young guys that don't give an inch about you because they had success in college, like Jalen Walker don't care about you. He got a championship ring. James Pierce don't care about you. He got a chip on his shoulder. So when these linemen go against them, they're going to have to be ready. So I think that's going to be an attribute to see how this old line takes it. Are y'all going to, like, is Lindstrom going to step up and be like a little bit play a little on the edge? We don't mind if you get a little like I didn't mind as much when I played like with Harvey Dahl back in the day. When I played with him, we knew he was going to get a penalty in one game. We knew at least a game he was going to get a penalty because that's how he played. He played to the whistle and a little. He played, like they said, to the echo of the whistle. So if we can get the same thing from them, you will see this team really start to excel. You'll see Bijan become that kind of back you want. You'll see the quarterback, the young quarterback who needs this more than anybody, Penix. You'll see Penix go from here to here because if he had that time, he had that confidence in Kyle Pitts, he had the confidence in his O-line. And you got to understand, like, I mean, the new left tackle is the right tackle now, and the new right tackle, like Caleb, is now the blind side tackle. So that totally changes. Like, he's no longer like you can just give up a sack here and there because look, you're going to be the guy everybody looking to go against because you're the backside of the quarterback from a right-hand quarterback to a left-hand quarterback. So Caleb is going to, like, all this kind of stuff he was last year, kind of in and out. He's going to have to play this year.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's something a lot of people don't think about is that right-handed versus left-handed quarterback and that switch of the blindside tackle. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. Maybe Penix helps open up running lanes for Bijan a little bit. He's a little bit more athletic than Kirk Cousins, was kind of like a statue back there. We'll see. But I agree, the offensive line, the trenches are going to be huge for this Falcons team. And if they can establish and get some physicality and some attitude, then, we'll see. Maybe they can steal this division. But like you said, a tough schedule and the first full year for Michael Penix. So it might be 2026 might be the year to take the division. This might be like a growing year. So we'll see. But
I think the year will be exciting. I'm not sure if they're ready yet. I think it'll be like 9 wins for me would be a good year. Like, as long as the other games are close, because looking at the schedule, it's going to be one of those schedules like,
Yeah, there's a lot of tough matchups on there for sure. Let's look at the Carolina Panthers. They're coming off a 5-12 season, finished third in the NFC South. like I said, Bryce Young started playing better his last 3 games of the season with 8 touchdowns, no interceptions. So we'll see if he can snowball that and take that in and get a hot start to 2025. They signed Rico Dowdle and drafted Travis Etienne, so they got 2 new running backs around Chuba Hubbard. They drafted wide receiver T-Mac, Tedero McMillan, and wide receiver Jimmy Horn to go with Adam Thielen and Xavier Legette. How do you feel about T-Mac? Do you think he's going to be a good fit there in Carolina? Him and Xavier Legette, that's a pretty good 1-2 punch.
I don't. Well, people say their receiving core is really good. I don't really see it yet. I think they have an average. Xavier had what, like maybe 500 yards receiving, and he's a Carolina guy. So I'm not trying to knock him at all. I saw him do a lot of horse racing and stuff on the offseason, but I haven't seen like like I don't really like when I see too much stuff on the offseason that if you're not like that guy yet.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be good. I mean, he's doing what he's supposed to do, though. You're young, you have a good time. Do all this stuff, get all the footage you can. But a lot of times we get so indulged in that people haven't really played yet. So my big thing is I hope that everybody can get to play. I think T-Mac will definitely help them. Is he that number one receiver? I don't know. Like all the names I'm saying, I don't see a number one. I don't see a guy that you be like, okay, this is our guy. Until the season starts, that's when we can really tell because there's so many young guys except for Adam Thielen. But he's a possession receiver. He's not going to take nothing 80 yards. That's not what we're looking for. I haven't seen Xavier do it yet. I've seen Xavier make some good catches, but I also seen him drop a few catches last year that should have been caught for touchdowns. So I've seen that too. So hopefully he comes in to be good. They showed a few highlights of him jumping over everybody, but I mean, they got real cornerback safeties playing, and it's going to be totally different. And the pick kind of surprised me, but I thought they could have done a little different, especially with the O-line problems they have. I thought they could have found something that maybe could have lasted them for the rest of 12 to 15-year type guy, but they weren't able to do that. But they did what they wanted to do. And me personally, I don't like them anyway. I don't like the Panthers. I don't like it. I don't like the Aints, so I don't give a damn what they do. I hope they rock hell.
I had Carolina taking Jalen Walker. I thought he was going there. They passed on him. Now he's in Atlanta. Maybe Carolina's going to regret not taking Jalen Walker, and now he's going to be haunting them twice a year. Every
season. We'll see. I think Jalen's going to be great, but Carolina, I think they're really going to have to focus on managing the ball, staying on the field as much as possible. I don't know if their defense is going to be as great as they want it to be, so they're definitely going to have to stay on the field, like you said. Like I'm talking about doing all these little short passes and staying, running the clock out, just skimming by and win. I don't see them just blowing people out.
Well, that's kind of Bryce Young's style of play anyways. Like he's like a point guard, just get the ball out quick, feed the weapons, and so we'll see if they can have success that way with Dave Canales. They signed 3 defensive linemen, Tershawn Wharton, Bobby Brown, and Patrick Jones. We'll see if that helps solidify the D-line. They also drafted linebacker Nick Scorton and Princely Uman Emelin or something like that, but 2 weapons there as well. This isn't a playoff team in my opinion. I have hope for Bryce Young, but I think this is a 6 to 8 win team. And maybe like Atlanta, maybe 2026 is their year to try to make the playoffs. I don't see it happening in 2025.
Yeah, 6-7 wins maybe. Because you gotta understand, everybody in this division is gonna be playing those same teams. Like they're gonna be playing the Rams. They're gonna be playing they're gonna be playing some people this year. So everybody I said earlier that was playing the Falcons are going to be playing this team. So and schedule this year is really going to be tough. It's not like a walk away thing. The Falcons got kind of lucky last year, beat the Eagles in the beginning of the year, and they kind of felt like they were feeling they won the Super Bowl. You can't really tell. That's why I tell people, and you got 17 games now. So usually we could tell by the 8th game what the year is going to be like. Now by the 8th game, you still can have a losing record. You 8-8, you kind of I won 8 straight games. I'm good. We can da. Nah, you can win 8, lose 9, and have a losing record. So this kind of year is different, man. Because I remember the beginning of the year, everybody was talking about how terrible Philly was going to be. Oh my God, and they came out good things with healthy players. I think the Carolina Panthers will be all right.
Yeah, they should be more competitive. And the most important thing is the development of Bryce Young. Keep taking steps in the right direction. Playoffs isn't mandatory this year. Just keep improving and keep getting better. All right, and now the New Orleans Saints, coming off a 5-12 record, finished last place in the division. They fired head coach Dennis Allen. They didn't retain the interim head coach Darren Rizzi. They hired Kellen Moore as their head coach. He's bringing along offensive coordinator Doug Nussmeier and defensive coordinator Brandon Staley. That's not a terrible staff, but I'm not sold on Kellen Moore as a head coach. How are you feeling about the Saints' new coaching staff?
Well, I think the Saints have way more issues than just the coaching staff. Like, I don't. The coaching staff can, take players and make them better, but Kellen Moore, I don't know if he has the. I don't know if he has the oomph to get the quarterbacks that they have. Like right now, they talk so bad about Tyler Slaw. They was talking about how his 2-minute drill was the worst. Spencer Rattler's a Gamecock, but it's no names on paper that looks like we can build a team around us. So,
Yeah.
Even having, Jordan, having Cameron Jordan and having DeMario Davis, sure, you think your defense is going to be good, but those guys are older now. I mean,
Yeah.
Cam, I'm not saying Cam can't still get it done, but Cam hasn't had a double-digit sack year. I mean, last year was not double-digit sack year. I mean, when he was good, but, I think this is just his hoorah season, but I'm like, I hate to see him go out like this. Brandon Cooks, I don't know if he's going to help more than hurt. Chris Olave. These guys see other guys come in and they're like, oh, he's going to help. But they're looking like, who's going to be throwing the ball to us? Like, that's the most biggest thing I'll be nervous about. Like, who's going to get this ball to us? And as great as Alvin Kamara seems he is, he's never had 1,000-yard rushing. His best year was last year for 900 yards. So we always put so much emphasis because we like the player, we love what he does, but he's not that Alvin Kamara that's just exciting like he was before. He manages the game well. He gets his big plays here and there, but he's never been like a home run hit guy like that. I'm not saying he hasn't been great. He's definitely been all-purpose type guy, but it's flashes. Like a consistent year, like maybe 1,500 yards or 1,400 or even 1,000 yards, if you want to be realistic about it as a running back. But they just have him kind of as a guy that just does this and does that. I think they don't have no personality. I don't think they have a identity. I don't think they have the culture right now to be a good team in the NFC South. You look at the other teams, and you kind of can say the person that you want to see. You can say, oh, Penix. You can look at Carolina, oh, Young. Even you can even say Xavier. You can say things like that. You look at Tampa, oh, Baker. Oh, Todd Bowles. You look at the Saints, tell me who you're talking.
I agree.
Look, you can't really say, when you think about the Saints, you don't want to say, oh, Alvin Kamara, Olave, Cameron Jordan. It's no, oh, Cameron Jordan. It's no, oh, Kellen Moore. They don't have that identity anymore. Like, even the craziest thing is probably the worst thing that happened is Derek Carr leaving. Like, as much as we talk so much trash about Derek Carr, they started off 4-0 last year. Then they plummeted so bad. But I'm like, everybody talking, oh, the Saints. I'm like, man, it's the Saints, and they really at the end of the year they get the dang Saints. So, but like it is saying a lot that Derek Carr retiring was the biggest news y'all really made on the offseason. Like, you got to be realistic. Like, nothing on paper looks like great choice. Good job. Like, there's nothing that you could look at. Like, even signing, like I said, even with Cameron and DeMario, you could oh, they're good players, but there's no wow factor here, bro.
No, it's been that way ever since Sean Payton left. The Saints haven't done anything that jumps off the screen that gets people excited. If you're a Saints fan, you're gonna find something to, root for and get hopeful for. But whether it's Tyler Shuck, I mean, I don't understand drafting Tyler Shuck in the second round. You could have had Shedeur Sanders earlier, but honestly, if you're the Saints, and I think this is what they're doing, I think they're going to suck this year. I really think 3-14 is a possibility with the goal in mind that they want Arch Manning or Garrett Nussmeier next year. With it, because Garrett Nussmeier's dad is the offensive coordinator, so that's a quarterback to keep an eye on. And Arch Manning, his grandpa, played for the Saints. Yeah. So that should be, if you're a Saints fan, that's something to look forward to and be hopeful for. So you should be rooting for, honestly, 2-15, 3-14, the number one overall pick. I don't see more than 5 wins on this roster. I really don't.
Yeah, you really don't. If you look at the roster, like I said, we're not trying to knock anybody as people or nothing like that. There's nothing up here that's going to sell tickets. Like people going to come watch the Saints play, but there is nothing unless they do some surprising stuff that we get shocked by. But like the defenses that they're going to face this year, just in that division, are going to be happy. Like, oh, we got to play the Saints. Yes, we're playing the Saints. Yes. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, besides that, like, this is going to be one of those seasons that y'all going to have to just buckle down and, like, let's get Arch. I guess, like, what you're saying does make sense. And, just like getting LeBron in Cleveland, sometimes you got to do stuff you need to do to get the player you want.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not sold on Tyler Shuck. I didn't really see second-round value, and we'll see if he can turn into something. Kellen Moore gets a lot of praise for the success he had in Dallas as offensive coordinator, the success he had in Philly as offensive coordinator. But I agree with you. Kellen Moore doesn't strike me as a NFL head coach, a locker room leader, a guy that the players are going to rally around. There's a long list of good coordinators that can't make it as head coaches, and I feel like Kellen Moore is right in that list. Spencer Rattler doesn't move the needle for me. Jake Haener either. So, I'm just not seeing a lot there. I put 4 to 6 wins, but I think more likely, 3 to 5. And, if you're a Saints fan, who cares about wins this year? Let's tank. Let's tank for Arch or tank for Garrett and see what 2026 looks like. But I think Kellen Moore's head coaching record is going to be pretty bad through 1 year. But
the NFC South is definitely not going to be scary for a couple of years, probably. I mean, I think they're going to be like within their self. They might be a little bit, you got a little back and forth going there, but I don't see them going into the league and being like, bam, check the NFC South out. I don't see that kind of. I don't see the Superman Clark Kent thing going on here. I think it's going to really be kind of like how they're. 10-7 might be the mark to get to win the division every year for a couple of years right now until we start seeing these people maturing. And I think you're going to have to make a big splurge for the Saints to really be a great team. You're going to have to find some guy that can just bring y'all attention. Like back in the day, they brought Brett Favre to the Vikings for the attention. Get the attention and get the people back hungry to see somebody playing. And then, now like the Vikings are the team that you want to see. It takes a few years, but, like even with Aaron Rodgers right now in Pittsburgh, we know he is not going to be there for no 15 years, but get the energy back for the people out there. Get them ready to play. So the next couple of years, we might be kind of like this, but then we're going to get the guy that we need, and then you can see what we was doing. But right now, let's just show y'all a good Hall of Fame guy. Give y'all a good thing for camera, get a good thing for TV, give you some good clips here and there. Give you some good things. We go 9-8, cool, because he got another winning season under his belt. All this stuff is what they're thinking, and all this stuff makes sense. They can say, "Oh, yeah, we think it's Super Bowl." You didn't think of that, but it's okay, But it's okay. But I think they're gonna have a lot of work to do. I wish all these guys luck. Kellen Moore. He get an opportunity. You hope it could be good. Maybe sometimes you should maybe check your schedule a little bit and see maybe. I think sometimes the reason why you said it. And the reason why you think it is because you're seeing a lot of OCs or DCs don't end up being head coaches because they jump for teams like this. They jump for teams like, Todd Bowles, when he went with the Jets, I was like, I don't know why he took this job. You know, they
Yeah.
kind of like, you took a job right after this person left, and you kind of taking up the scraps that these people taking, but you think you can like save a team by bringing this person in, and then you find out this guy retired, you find out the guy you thought was going to be here is not that kind of person in the locker room, and then you have to like take it, because some of these head coaches, they go to teams that they can kind of like put stuff together. Like Aaron Glenn right now went to a team that, you know, they have a quarterback that they want now. They have great running back room. They have a DB room. They have a good D line. Like, they have a lot of stuff that he can kind of put together and mold. So having 9 or 10 wins with the Jets should be easy. This, though, is kind of like, you took this job now. Don't be mad if you get 1 year and you're out. Don't be mad.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. If you're a up and coming coordinator, don't take a head coach job just to be a head coach. Take the right job, you know? And I think Kellen Moore is going to have a tough time here. And to your point, if the Saints were looking for something to sell tickets and to get any kind of excitement for this year, why not draft Shedeur Sanders? That's what never made any sense to me. Who's going to get excited about Tyler Shuck? Yeah. So it's just one of those things, and we'll see if Kellen Moore, on top of that, Derek Carr retires, Tyrann Mathieu retires, Ryan Ramczyk retires. So it's going to be an adjustment year. I think it's going to be a bad year in New Orleans, and we'll see what 2026 looks like. But if you're a Falcons fan, a Bucs fan, even a Panthers fan, you're looking at the Saints like, all right, let's try and sweep this team. Let's try and get 2 wins here and then build on that the rest of the division. But we'll see about Carolina and Atlanta if they can make it interesting with Tampa Bay. This could end up being a 3 top-heavy division, and we'll see how that shakes out. But the Saints should be bringing up the bottom for sure. And lastly, I know this isn't the NFC South, but what do you make of Micah Parsons pretty much calling out Jerry Jones and the Cowboys and saying, I no longer want to be here? That's going to have like 31 teams in the NFL making trade offers if Micah Parsons is available.
Well, the biggest thing is that you have that opportunity to talk about your team and tell people how you feel now. When I was going through my situation with the New York Jets, I tried not to talk about it, and I tried to keep it as low as possible because I want to get traded to the team as high as possible. Even if I knew I should have deserved this, even when he spoke about his injuries or he spoke about certain things that Jerry brought up, that gave him open room to talk about it too. So, and back in the day, we couldn't talk like that. We couldn't tell our perspective. He just said last year that how he loved being a Cowboy. He wanted to finish his career there. He felt like the star was meant to be there, which that's what players do. That's what we do. We do hype it up a lot, but also that's like our first girlfriend. We think that's going to be our only love for the rest of our life. Then you get dumped and you start feeling kind of bad. Then you hate your girlfriend for a little while because she cheated on you because she told you this, and she said she was only giving it to you. But she was giving it to somebody else. She wouldn't give you it no more. She was giving it to somebody else. So he's not getting his love anymore. And like they said, the honeymoon is over once you sign that contract. They don't care that you're Michael Parsons. They don't care that you're all pro. They don't care that they see a guy that, you missed 6 games for us, but you expecting money like TJ Watt. No, we don't see it. We don't see that. Even though TJ missed games too, we don't see it that way. We feel like we're just that good. Y'all ain't won a championship. I mean, he called out Dak too. Dak knows that he's not loved by that team like that. He knows that Jerry Jones doesn't love him like that. He's just the best they can do, and it's not even playing like. And he plays his role. He don't talk too much trash. He just say, "Oh, that's your Jerry." And after a while, you get kind of used to it. But at least they have the fact, like they have the fact they can talk. They can tell people, and he knows, like everybody knows. Everybody's on his side. Everybody's on Parsons' side. It's not one person that's going to say that you don't deserve this money. So all the other teams are looking like, okay, well, what's going on with him? And they do that to try to devalue. The same thing they did to Dak. When they weren't paying Dak, they was kind of like, well, that we'll wait, all this stuff. So it's a part of the game. I feel for him, though, because when I said it hurts so bad to want to finish with a team, and if I did something to offend y'all, I want to make up with it. Like, just give me some more years to stay here so I can show y'all. I want to prove to y'all that I want to be here. And when it gets to the point that, like I said, with social media and the owner of the team not even respecting you enough to like say it just in the locker room, say it in the locker room is fine. Then if he comes and say something, but you say it on TV, you say stuff like that on TV, and then when I come and you gotta understand how it is. He probably came into the room or came into the building. Jerry Jones might even say that to him. Jerry Jones might have walked back to him. You know, you have that animosity. It's just like when you're fighting with your mom or your dad. It's the same thing. It's just a bigger spectrum because you got like 200 million maybe on the table right now, and that's the biggest thing. And like I think he said something about even like putting me in a room without my agent trying to like discuss what they want to do and stuff like that. All this stuff is what they do, man. I remember they sat me down and showed me what contract I would get, and they ended up giving the contract to Sean. It was kind of like, but I was like, no, I'm not. Oh, we can give you this deal, but you know, we're gonna have to put this in. And then I'm like, I only have my agent here. And they was telling me what deal they were, and they ended up giving the deal to Sean because Sean was never hurt. But they was telling me about, well, if you get hurt, this is gonna happen, and we'll take this, and you get hurt again. I'm looking like, and I don't have no agent. I'm sitting in the office like with Herm or whoever else was in there, and they just tell me about like the deal that they wanted to give either me or Sean, but I had to have this and all this. And I'm looking like they really just because the only thing, first thing I see here, because think about it, I had like a 5-year deal for like $7 million. Then I had like a 1-year deal for $6 million. And then they was proposing like a $30 million deal. So yeah, I was ready to sign. But then I realized that it was like $15 million off. I was like, son of a bitch. I was like, son of a bitch. Like, y'all was, because even how they said, we're going to give you either Sean this contract. And I was like, give it to Sean. I'm like, yeah, give it to Sean. I'm like, I'm cool. Like, I'll just go someplace else. Like, I'm thinking about retiring anyway. It was like that's how bad it gets because you can't show the person any more than you really show them. Like, and it's really painful. And it's really a it's just bad for the league, man. You know, something. That's why I always say, like, why do they have to even say these contract stuff? Why they got to tell how much NFL players get paid? And there's like, well, you know, it's more for the social thing to make sure people getting paid right, and also for this and this and this. And I'm looking like, man, I'm telling you, like, that's one thing I would never want to do again. Like, even like living life now, I try to just stay as solid as possible because it can really, like, he's always going to be a Cowboy, regardless of what's going on now. He always going to be loved in Dallas, but I understand what he's feeling, man. It's really a low point. It might take him a couple years to get over it, even to after he's done with football. To like, come on, because there's a lot of, like, look, Julio's going through it now with the Falcons. Like, Julio's been a great player, but however something was going on and it touched him the wrong way, it's like people just don't understand. It's not just about the money. Sometimes it's about like how much you put on the line, like how many injuries you had, like how many times you played with a bum shoulder, how many times you played with a concussion, how many times you swept that under the rug for the team. But then the team will look at you like, oh, you can't play hurt. But you knew like that one game I played and my shoulder was not. Oh, I played this one game with this, or I played this game with this. Oh, but you're not tough enough. I ain't tough enough. If I would have sat out that game, maybe I would have been better for the other games that I missed. So it's so much opportunities that a player can obviously take himself first, but then, oh, he's selfish. I got called selfish so much in the Jets because I wouldn't play because I was hurt. And I take that back. I was injured. It's a big thing. People think injury and hurt the same. Oh, so-and-so's hurt. You hurt, you go to cry and get your ass back in the game. You injured, that means that literally you went to see a doctor and the doctor say you can't play?
Yeah.
Sit your ass down. Sit your ass down.
Yeah, it's crazy, and there's so much dirty laundry that gets aired during these type of negotiations, and everything's in the public eye, and it can get contentious pretty quickly. And the thing is, the Cowboys usually always end up paying their guys, whether it's Dak, CD. I have no doubt the Cowboys are going to eventually pay Micah and pay him a lot of money, but they just make it so difficult, and they go through the media and try to lowball and you know, the Cowboys are trying to save every little penny, and it's like, man, pay Micah.
It ain't got nothing to do with money. It got to do with power. It got to do to say that I can do what I want to do. It's never been about money because they, like you said, how many times they haven't paid somebody well? They paid Diggs, they paid CD, they paid Dak, they paid all, and they want to pay. They just want to show him that we got the control. So, and it's probably not even him. And it's more than they like to fight with the agents. Because think about it. You can talk about the player all you want to, but really you talk to the agents because them the ones are describing what kind of money we want. So they're putting the thing, they're saying that we don't want us in the contract. They're doing all that, but then you go straight to you try to devalue the player so you can get it for cheaper, but all you're doing is hurting the player feeling. And then you put in the business side. The worst thing is to put the business side in a player. And so Micah got to be like, shit, as a business side, it's going to hurt me to come back in this locker room. It's going to hurt me to go to these events and have to sit by Jerry Jones when he's just saying how terrible I was for a year. Even though I came out here and like balled out every year except for this year. So that's the big thing about it. And it's all about the power thing. But Micah can't sit there and say, I want this, I want that. If you take the aging out and you can have players, if they were to educate players in college on how to run their contracts and how to do this, so they didn't need agents, they can sit down and say, this is what I want by seeing this, or they can like pay somebody one time just to sit down with them and say it. It'll be a whole different conversation. But that's not what y'all teach us. Y'all teach us about football. So let us do football and we let our agents do this. But you can kiss my whole asshole sometimes. You can tell them that because I promise you I'll be feeling that so much. I'm like, just kiss my asshole.
So, that's why, for me personally, the older I get, the more football I watch, I become more of a player fan than a team fan because you see how often these teams do the players dirty and penny pinch, and it's all about control and the optics and narratives. And it's more about, it gets to become more about that stuff than about winning football games. You know what I mean? If the Cowboys want to win, they'll pay Micah and have him on the, have him happy, keep him happy.
No, but then they want you to turn it back on. After all this BS, you do all this to make that man feel like that. Then they want y'all just to turn the switch back on, like, oh, well, and they're going to have you signing the contract like this. And
everything's good again.
Like, look, you're going to be like, mother. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it took me so long to like, I ain't gonna say forgive the Jets because I wasn't a great person, I guess, off the field, or I didn't do something they didn't like. I don't know exactly what I wish they would have told me. Like when you saw that you well, just say like, look, you get hurt too much. That's the only way I get rid of you. Cool. I don't understand that, man. Hell, I came to Atlanta, I got hurt the first game, but you know what Atlanta did? They made sure that we're going to make sure you stay healthy. We're not going to do this anymore. You're not going to be sitting here hitting every day. You're not going to do anything. We know that we value you, Mr. Abraham. And the whole time I was in Atlanta, I felt valued. Like when I was in New York, it was just like, oh, he ain't tough enough, so let's practice him more. Stupid. Like I keep messing my groin up. Like, what are y'all talking about? So it was tough, man. But it is what it is, and I hope he gets through this as quick as possible. And I'm not talking about the financial thing. I'm talking about mentally. Mentally, you gotta be able to drop this. If he goes to another team, heaven knows I don't think it's going to happen. And if he goes to another team, we should have got him a whole hell of a lot earlier. I like Walker and I like boy Pierce, but damn it, we should have got him a whole. We should have got him like in the draft. Y'all should have played around and gave us. We would have took Micah. Now he would have had 11 on. I wouldn't have mind. Now Walker would have to work and make that 11 look good. But it's like if he would have had. Yeah, that makes sense to me, man. Hey, baby, you know what I'm talking about? But it is what it is, man.
It's gonna be crazy, and we'll see. Me and Amanda were just texting back and forth. Like Amanda's like, Micah's gonna be a Packer, and I'm like, no, Micah's gonna be a Bear. Like Micah's going back to the Cowboys. I'm 100% sure of that. But if he isn't, if he's available, everybody's gonna be trying to get him. So. We'll see what happens, but I expect Micah Parsons, Trey Hendrickson, Terry McLaurin, all to get paid and stay where they're at. That's the common sense approach. We'll see if it happens, but we're going to keep this offseason going. We're getting close. Training camps are here. Preseason started last night. That was a fun game to watch. We got a bunch of games starting up Thursday and this coming weekend. Abe, great to have you on and talk some NFC South. And we'll get you back on soon, and looking forward to you're going to be on ESPN at Falcons camp, right?
Bleacher Report. I should be on Bleacher Report with Mike Golick Jr. Any kind of information you need to tell me or text me, or if you like, it's from 11 o'clock. So if you need to text me and say, "Hey, John, that sounds stupid," hit me up, man, because I'm telling you, like, for me, it's going to be a new adventure. It's going to be something I try for the first time, with the live thing. I did a live thing, but doing an hour and a half straight is going to be different for me. It's going to be outside. It's going to be at training camp. Hopefully I can get put another I guess what they say, another notch in my belt and do good. Hopefully it can lead to more things. I think that I'm always going to be here for you regardless of whatever I do. I'm always going to be on your show. I'm always going, whenever you call, I'm going to be ready for that. But I want to do as much as possible, man. And I'm actually enjoying learning football. I want to bring it back to the perspective of players being on player side, keeping it 100, none of the just saying stuff for clickbait like a lot of guys do. Like I think somebody told me when I first started doing this thing, he said, as long as you telling the truth and you're not making up something about somebody, you're a good reporter. And I think that what we do is that what Amanda does is that we don't really try to knock people. Like we always say, like, if you're playing bad, you're playing bad. We don't make up and say like, oh, well, if he didn't sleep with this person. We don't do stuff like that. We don't really talk about people's personal life like that. We don't go into what they grew up in, and what we talk about pretty much what they did on the field. We talk about what we feel like they can do, and we talk about what they should do. And we keep it very 100. And that's what I think the biggest thing that has helped me become better at this. And I think that's what I want to keep portraying. And like I said, I'm always going to be here for this show.
That's awesome. It's all love over here. We appreciate so much. It's always fun having you on the show. You've been a great member, great guest for us every time. We know you're going to kill it. You're going to do a great job on that show at Falcons Training Camp. Can't wait for that. And I agree. We keep it 100. You and Amanda do a great job of bringing that and helping us, each week. So appreciate it as always. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll be back next week. Have a great week, and peace out.